on the food to eat, because in those days, the question they used to ask us, have you eaten? Not that, are you full? So it's a situation we have found ourselves, but we're going to get out of it. You see, we don't understand that it has to be bad before it becomes good. And that's the way life is. Now, you look at when we were growing up, and the problems we had to suffer in order to be what we are. We didn't have it on a platter of gold, but here we are now. So it's the same with Nigeria. Once you have a leader that knows what he is doing, and we give him chance, and we are not in a hurry, because he didn't lead us. Well, we may say his party is part of the problem, but again, like I said, there's a new sheriff in town who understands what he has to do, and who understands the enormity of Nigeria's problems, and how he understands how to build us out of these problems. So Nigerians will have to cut waste. We are a wasteful nation. Unnecessary parties. You have to do away with unnecessary parties.
But school of thought has it that that is what has been sustaining us, and that's why the poverty level has been improving. That if we do not have these social engagements, that probably things will have been worse.
I say you curtail your social engagements. Okay. Because now if you have to do Owambe party and invite 1,000 people, it's time to invite about 100 people to be able to cut waste. So, you see, don't forget that Nigeria, like I said, Nigeria has a way of survival. It may look difficult. Now, let's look at people are still sending their children to private nursery, primary, and secondary. Even the children of the downtrodden.
Probably because of lack of adequate infrastructure facility from government.
Yes, right. Schools. How are they able to afford it?
So your suggestion, sir?
Agreed. Those facilities are lacking. But these people have been able to cope through denying themselves. Look, when we were growing up, our parents took loans to sponsor our education. And their parents who are ready to go hungry to sponsor their children to schools because they know the value of education. Look, you can't get there without some little suffering. And parents knew that. And that's why they were able to sacrifice for us, and that's why we are where we are. So Nigerians must be ready to sacrifice. Look, people will eat. You may not eat quality food. You may not eat a number of times, but you will still eat and survive.
But if we say this to politicians, probably they may continue to abdicate their responsibilities.
Now, leave politicians, let me tell you, you have a leader who knows where he's going. And that's what is important. Corruption cannot be solved overnight. Corruption has always been there. You take your car to the mechanic, it siphons part of your petrol.
If you're not there.
If you're not there.
Even if you are there, if you're not careful.
It takes a part that is removed. It goes back and brings the same part.
To sell to you.
And sell to you. Is that not corruption? You see, we seem to think that corruption is only up. It is endemic. It is part of the society. So
even in the marketplace?
Even in the marketplace. They will sell fake products for you. Electronics, whatever. So, we need a new reorientation. From the beginning, from the primary school, when we were studying, in the past we were studying civics, the act of governance. Suddenly history disappeared because some people concocted and decided to remove history so that people no longer understand their history. All these subjects must be brought back. The National Orientation Agency has a lot of work to do. we have to start from the beginning. You see, America did not get to where it is in 50, in 60, in 100 years. So Nigeria will not beat America. And that's why, look, I envy India every time I look at India and see that India is growing at its own pace. Now, India is Mecca for health services. It took time. Now, Nigeria can export human resources. We've never looked at it. So many doctors are going, and we are allowing them to go without getting foreign exchange from them. Whereas we can train our huge human resources for Africa, for the rest of the world, for Asia and whatever, and we earn foreign exchange from it.
If you don't stop them from going.
Yeah, it's just organized, they are going and reap from it. So that's how it works. We are not looking. We are simply not looking because of oil, and that is the problem. Since we discovered oil, the Nigerian problem has started.
Thank you, Prof. Dele, what other local remedies do you want to prefer to help Nigerians coping with this situation?
Yes, well, the Prof said it all, that this flamboyant lifestyle, trying to impress anyone or impress people, it's time to deal with that. You see, there are other things too that as a people we need to start looking into. I remember in those days, like Prof said, there has always been poverty in the land, there's always been hardship in the land. In the days of Olufemi Obasanjo as military head of state, 1975 to 76 to 79, they came up with this catchphrase, Operation Feed the Nation. What led to that was because there was hunger in the land, and Obasanjo rose to the occasion and said, look, everybody should cultivate, even your backyard, try and plant something. And that was, if I remember what Minister Obi, that the legendary musician, said, and that made some of us to go to the farm and to plant. So Nigerians, first of all, we must go back to farm. Whether you are a civil servant, or I don't even like the word civil servant anyway. Whether you are a public service worker, or you are a company staff, or you are a banker, let us all go back to farm and cultivate something. Then two, we need to also look at the palliatives, so-called palliatives that the government wants to put in place. Like I said, I'm not comfortable with the word palliatives. I prefer to say interventions. The interventions must come in this form. One, government must subsidize certain things. You cannot say that subsidy is not, you cannot subsidize anything. Even God subsidizes human existence. The air we breathe in, the grace we enjoy, the mercy we enjoy, the favor we enjoy, the divine provision we enjoy, the breakthrough we enjoy. These are subsidies by government, by our Father, by God. So the government must put subsidy in the following areas. Conversion of vehicles from petrol to gas, or to gas, or electric. They must subsidize that. Now, they don't put that cost on people. They must do that. Then two, government must also subsidize what is it called? Vehicles that will take farm products from the rural areas to the cities. It is not each time they roll out buses, mass transit buses. They do not know. Nobody thinks of the rural farmers. It may not be these luxury buses that will be deployed to those farms. It could be this what is it called? Cast that does this open roof at the back where they can put their farm product, and then so you can deploy those to the farms so that they can
pick up vehicles
and all of that, so that will bring farm products to the farm. And then beyond that, sir, let us also look at education. There must be an aspect of education that the government must put subsidy in. I'm not saying they should not charge fees and all of that, but at least let there be
enabling
environment for our students to study. And then beyond that, sir, in our health institutions, they should provide necessary equipment in the hospitals and drugs in the hospitals, and make health free for underage. age 0 to maybe 8 or 10, and then 60 years and above. Let the state, of course, provide free health services for these people, because these are vulnerable group of people. And so if they can do all of those things, Nigerians will come out quickly. And if you look at other climes, when they have issues, like in UK, like in US, for example, when there is a raise in pump price, what do? They bring out reserve. They bring out from their reserve and then try to intervene so that the price cannot just go up and hit the roof. So all of these things put together will make all of us, and then we forget that government has it a duty now. Living wage for workers. I don't like the word minimum wage. They should not talk about minimum. They should give workers living wage that will take them home and provide for their family, provide for the education of their children, and pensioners who retired maybe some years ago and then they are earning a peanut. Government should up their pensions so that they don't die young, they don't die before their time. And these are things that I believe should be done by government to make the removal of subsidy, to cushion the effect of subsidy scrapping.
Thank you very much.
Sorry, just let me chip in something. Now, subsidy is good.
It's good.
Subsidy is good. It is subsidy that does not aim to correct the anomaly between the rich that is bad. Government should provide basic amenities.
Like?
For example, water, electricity. Look, there should be rural electricity.
Transportation.
That's part of intervention that you are saying.
Yes, sir.
People have solar panels in their houses now. By extension, go to the rural communities and give them solar energy. Since we've not been able to understand our electricity generation,
yes.
We don't understand it. Because there are people that will not make it work, who want to continue to sell generators. You see, as government is trying, there are people, there are saboteurs that constitute cabals. Now, for example, if there's transportation, in this Abeokuta, for example, everybody, whether you are public servants or whatever, you want to move from one place to the other, and you're only paying something that is minimal. Even taxis will be forced to drop their
fares.
So that is subsidy in itself. You go to hospital, you are charged minimal fees. That is subsidy itself. Water is not available. You are running tankers. Tanker drivers are moving around the place and supplying free water to people. That is one of the palliatives. So, intervention. Government must be thinking. There are so many ways, rather than cash gift, that can make life more meaningful to the people.
Let me ask
leverage on the number.
For some time now, we've not been having effective local government administration. What do you prefer?
You see, the problem is with the state. The states, and it is with the governors. They want to wield influence all over their territory. You see, take away local governments from administration of the state. There is nothing remaining.
Because they are closer to the people.
These are the people. Now, there are so many roads that are local government roads. There are roads that are state roads. There are roads that are federal government roads. Sometimes it baffles me when they say this is federal road and it runs in your state. Who carved it? Who created the division? And say one is a state road, one is a local government road, and one is a federal road. And you have every place in a state of disrepair. Common roads. We cannot. So, you see, until local governments become self-sufficient and they are also able to generate little revenues for themselves in terms of shops and whatever, and they can get revenue, and they can do little repairs and make life more comfortable to people.
I could remember in those days, local government were the ones that were doing culverts,
Yes.
that were clearing
Exactly.
the gutters, that were, in fact, in so many markets, they are the one running.
They are the one running the
And
markets,
even the
exactly.
motor parks.
The motor parks, exactly.
So what is happening?
Yes, it's lack of the division of responsibility.
Or you mean encroachment
Or encroachment, whichever.
into the responsibilities
Encroachment.
of some tiers of government?
So we have to sit down. We have to sit down now.
I think it's part of the reforms that Prof was saying initially. That look, the last administration, I don't know why they shied away from doing the needful. Local government autonomy was one of those issues that was put before the last administration.
Exactly.
The bill, I don't know whether the bill is stuck in the national in the Ninth Assembly.
It was not passed by two-thirds of the states.
Yeah, it was not passed.
Okay,
died at
it
the
was
state
the
level.
financial autonomy that
Yes. Now, it is now on the table of Bola Ahmed Tinubu as president to carry out what we call real reforms. One, devolution of powers. Then the 3 tiers of government must be made to be functional. That there will be total independence of the local government and the state. For example, just like Prof said, the governors want to, corner the resources of local government. Why? Does the federal government corner the resources of states? If the federal government decides to breathe down on states and corner their own resources, what will happen to them? So they should allow local government to function. But see, the fear is this. For some people, they believe that until they take charge of the local government, they can't have that power to wield as the governor and all of that. But it is in the advantage and in the interest of the state governors. Like in Ogun State now, I'm told that Governor Dapo Abiodun has been able to give a new lease of life to local governments and allow them to have their funds. Know that it's not interfering or dipping its hands into local government funds so that they can perform and all of that. It is good. And like I told you the examples of getting a tractor. In those days, every local government has bulldozer, they have grader, they have tractors and all of that. But you can't find that in any local government now. Now people have to come to Abeokuta, the state capital, to be able to get tractor, to go and work in Imeko, to go and plow something, to plow a land in Ijebu. It shouldn't be.
It should be decentralized.
It should be decentralized. So local government autonomy, devolution of powers, and all of these things, and the independence of the 3 arms of government, those ones should be put on the table of Mr. President to make sure that it works in tandem with this current National Assembly, the 3rd Assembly, to ensure that finally we have fiscal federalism. We have then the country is restructured in such a way that there will be efficient service delivery by all the 3 tiers of government.
Prof, thank you very much. Dele, Prof, there's one critical area that we have not really addressed, and that is the issue of local refineries. We
Whatever.
probably improving the standard.
Yes. So, and if you have that dotted so that the poor will continue to be poorer.
Prof, let me ask you, what would be the critical advice you have for our people, the government and the citizens?
Well, there has to be a government has to sit down, identify critical areas of Nigeria's survival, and then put committees to work on these critical areas of survival and get solutions on how to move forward. Now, there are little things that can be done to make Nigerians comfortable in a little time, honestly. Once we identify that, people will not complain, but let me tell you, Nigerians will always complain, no matter what happens. But for government to see that it has done its best to alleviate the sufferings of the masses.
Dele?
Well, it's very briefly, it's all that we all know that the government, like you said, the Bola Ahmed Tinubu administration, the Nigerians expect a lot from him. And because it's a leader who has prepared for governance. Like you said, in his quoting him, that he has always, it's a lifetime ambition for him to become president. And if it is a lifetime ambition, that presupposes that he has really prepared. He knows his onions. So we are, like he said, the citizens will have to cooperate with him. And then he too should also assemble his team quickly, like his cabinet and all of that, so that he can have people that he can brainstorm with, experts, technocrats, not politicians as such, that can move this country forward. So what it is not in our own interest as a nation for President Tinubu to fail, because the last 8 years is harrowing for Nigerians. And coming out of that, and then for us not to have a new lease of life, we must cooperate with Bola Ahmed Tinubu so that we can have a new lease of life, and then Nigeria can breathe again and play its role as a regional bloc, as a regional power, and then be a voice in the world. I want to, before I close, I want President Bola Tinubu to also take a cue from the word from the Kenyan president, President Ruto, who said Africa should try and pull down all the hindrances that is limiting their citizens from going across the continent, traveling according to the continent without passport, so that there can be free trade and there can be free interaction and all of that, which of course the colonial masters have divided us and they don't want us to exist.
Thank you very much. We can't have it better than this, and of course it is on this note that we have to praise Nigerians for cooperating with this present government, for having the expectation that things will be better. And I believe too, things will be better. There's going to be a renewed hope. Prof, it's been wonderful having you here.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much.
We have reaped a lot from your wisdom. And Dele Akinsola, thank you so much for being here. Citizens,
thank you very much.
It is our opportunity and it's our vision that Nigeria will be better. Until next week, when we bring you another topic, I say thank you for being with us. Bye.
Win an all-expense trip to Disneyland.